Just north of western North Carolina, you'll hear George Wurtzel working away with his apprentice Guthrie in his shop. It's a sound he heard since he was a kid growing up in Michigan.
Now you're
happy, yeah.
If my mom wanted new shelves in her pantry or something, my mom would go get the sawhorses and the skill saw and the square, and she'd build them. Spin it clockwise so you strip out the threads. So I come by my woodworking skills through my genes.
He briefly worked on engines for Volkswagen,
And it was the same thing. I mean, it was you take apart an engine, you fix it, you put it back together.
so he set out for something different.
And I'm the kind of person that I can find my way there without the map.
And that's a good thing, because George has followed his passion for woodworking all over the country. From Michigan to North Carolina, Minneapolis to California, and finally setting in Greeneville, Tennessee.
Maybe that's one of the things that drives George, is the fact that he likes the new, he likes the challenge of it.
Sharon Burton saw that drive in George when she was looking to fix up a home almost 25 years ago.
When I met George, I needed a kitchen, and I got a kitchen, and I got George.
His talents were obvious.
Oh, it's a nice kitchen too, it really is.
And that's where it all started. It's been downhill ever since.
A downhill journey with many ups and downs, but according to Sharon,
It's always fun.
Yeah.
And sometimes I get all teary about it.
but George has always been able to see things differently.
My ability to conceptualize in my head and my ability to understand space is incredibly good, which to some people that seems strange for someone who doesn't see.
George was born with poor vision, and by the time he was in his early 20s, he was completely blind.
So can you see kind of light and shadows? You just can't see anything.
Zero now, absolutely zero.
But what can be seen clearly is George's talents as a woodworker.
I may not consider being blind to be a limitation. It certainly is no limitation to me to design something. It certainly is no limitation to me to build something.
I think he comes at things a little differently than people might sometimes, but I think it's based more on experience than anything else.
I started off in the woodworking business, building real simple lawn chairs and putting them out in the front yard for sale, and people come buy one or two at a time. Sometimes, if I really considered it great, if people would buy two. And then a guy came by and bought two one weekend, and 2 weekends later came back and he wanted 100.
And from there, he kept creating pieces of all sizes and function. Eventually, he began to teach others as well.
And they said, how do you keep all of those projects in your head and understand where they are and what their next step is? And I will tell you that I have no idea how I do that. But I do it really, really well.
Keeping track of the biscuit cutters, the bowls, the works of art, and a big round door, the likes of which he's never built before.
If you do the first chunk that you know how to do, then you do the next chunk, then you can figure out how to do the next chunk. Pretty soon you have a 7-foot diameter round door that's all built on things you already knew how to do.
George is always looking forward to what's next. And according to Sharon, that's part of the fun.
He's so talented and he's interesting. He's fun to be around, so it's never a dull moment here.